Hello my friends, and welcome to another decently large book haul. All of these books have been gifted to me by Christian authors. One of my goals for the year is to read a ton of Christian authors and share them with you, help raise awareness of great Christian authors. And so I put out a call on Instagram a month or two ago, I don't even remember when I did it, saying I want to read some more of their books, and I got a bunch sent to me. I read the descriptions of these books before they sent them, before I agreed to receive them, because I only want people to send me books that sound of interest to me. It's no help to them if I take in books that are not of interest, and these all sounded great. Do I remember now anything about them? No, not really. So we're gonna dive in. I'm gonna tell you about them. We're gonna remember or learn together what they are about. So let's just get started. I have like 3 different stacks sitting here in front of me. Starting with stack 1 here, I already shared 2 of these books in my spring TBR video. I've got Waterfall by Lisa T. Berggren. This is the first book in the River of Time series, and this has to do with time travel, because it says, what do you do when your knight in shining armor lives literally 700 years away? Most American teenagers want a vacation in Italy. Even I want a vacation in Italy, honestly. But the Betterini sisters have spent every summer of their lives with their mother, a famed scholar exploring the romantic hills. Stuck among the rubble of medieval castles in rural Tuscany on yet another hot, dusty archaeological site, Gabby and Leah are bored out of their minds, until Gabby places her hand atop a handprint in an ancient tomb and finds herself in 14th century Italy. I think that'd be great. I don't know about 14th century Italy so much, but Italy sounds great. Also, kind of want to go turn that light on, so I'll be right back. There we go, that feels better. Also, another one that was on my spring TBR is Behind the Veil by Samantha Ray Ortiz. I still don't know how to say it. So I guess we've got time travel, so we've got some science fiction. I think this one is also science fiction, if I remember correctly. In her monsoon-flooded world, the council is the lifeboat, and Layden Pryor, a timid yet determined girl from the Outlayers, will do anything to climb aboard. Before she can join them, however, she must undergo the generational trials, an elite competition where her mind is transferred to the body of a host, and every moment becomes a fight to prove her worth. Yeah, I don't quite understand how that's going to work, but it sounds like an interesting concept, so I'm excited to read it. This is going to be a series. When did this one come out? This one came out in 2025, so I don't think that there's more out yet, but it has a very beautiful cover, and I'm a sucker for beautiful covers, so want to read this soon. I got a poetry collection here. This is Tracing Lines by Lori Hirschberger. To write a poem is to trace along the ragged edges of a memory and say, this is what I experienced. It is to trace the sweeping flight of a swallow over a river at sunset and say to the world, this is beautiful. It is to trace a line through the thick dust and say to yourself very softly, I am alive. Oh, I like that. I have like, just skimming through it, this fits my poetry criteria. I don't like really long poems, and this looks perfect. And there's some pictures in here. Let's see if I can. It's like a old telephone on the wall, prairie wind, and there's a little house on a prairie. Cool. I always love to try more poetry, and it's about time that I read another poetry book. Then I have Deadly Currents by Elizabeth Goddard. This is the 3rd book in the Hidden Bay series. I don't think that you have to read them in order necessarily, but I plan on it. So it's a romantic suspense story. So I've already read, knowing this was coming, I read book 1, Storm Warning, this month. And then I want to read book 2, which is Perilous Tides, before I read Deadly Currents. This one says, investigative journalist Cressida Dane arrives in Hidden Bay after a worldwide journey to finish her late father's manuscript on shipwrecks. Interesting. As she tries to discover the story behind the ghost ship Spectre's Bounty, her only lead is a name her father left behind, Evelyn Monroe, who I remember from book 1. As Cressida uncovers more about the ship, she quickly realizes that her research has placed her in the crosshairs of dangerous forces. So these all have like watery, we've got Storm Warning, Perilous Tides, and Deadly Currents have all got like a water theme to them. Then we've got Illuminate by Samantha Jockish. Sorry guys if I'm butchering your names. I really like printed on hardcover books. I want that to be more of a thing in the publishing industry. I really do like paperback too. They feel good when reading them, but if a person's going to be having a hardcover, get rid of the dust jacket. I'm not a dust jacket girl. So this is, in the kingdom of Sol Olin, those who choose to become servants of light are given one of 3 gifts to become either a shield, a spark, or a seeker. Shields protect, sparks heal, and seekers gain knowledge. Callista serves as a shield and yearns to protect the goodness and light of her kingdom more than anything. When mysterious strangers, a pirate with a dark past, and monsters beyond her imagination begin to lurk in the shadows, she fears she may not have enough strength to defeat the darkness brewing. Will the kingdom be torn apart from within? And will she be strong enough to defend those she loves while lies cripple her mind? So can't wait to get to that one. Let's move another stack over. I got 3 books by Tiffany M. Rice. I think they are each the first book in a series. So she's going to make me start 3 different series this year. We've got The Mentor's Forge, a weapons master with one weakness, a woman not allowed to marry outside of royal blood, trials that bring them together. This is a big book. It's just shy of 500 pages. That is all that the back says. Ooh, but it's got a map. So this is Tales of Marmaden is the series, I believe. I love that she's got the number 1, she's got the series name, she's got the title. So much information right there. And then we've got Heart of Fire. Oh, this is the Gift of Marmaden, but I think Heart of Fire is the series because it's also book 1. A commoner destined to fight ruling powers, a princess ready to abandon her crown. Aaron thought he would spend his days in the calm embrace of his mountain-wrapped town, but an ancient enemy upends his world, crawling out from a realm of darkness and threatens to consume it. Princess Kaylee always did as her father commanded, but after meeting Aaron, now she questions everything as her father's obsessions come with a cost she's no longer willing to pay. Working within the shadows, the king's advisor is ready to risk his soul for a power great enough to overcome his master. Aaron must learn quickly to adapt and control his new power, while Kaylee must let go of her roots for the greater good. War isn't the worst possible outcome. It's just the beginning. This one's smaller. This one is it's 360 pages. And then also has the same map, I think. Yeah, it's the same place. So I'm curious to see how they go together. And then we've got, this series is The Lone Prince. The title is Beyond the Broken Throne. Once again, book 1. This one's bigger as well. Just under 500 pages as well. Oh, and at the back, she does have information on like sea and landmarks, days of the week, months of the year. Do they all have that? I really appreciate, yeah, they do. A little bit of a glossary of terms. I really appreciate that. So it's really great to notice it before reading it, if it's going to be in the back. So helpful. Once again, has a map. Same country or kingdom or whatever the terminology will be for the book. A scorned prince and broken family, a determined field nurse, the kingdom only they can save. Prince Curtis has a reputation of misfortune, but when War and a power as ancient as the world itself threatens his people. He must find courage to save them. Clarice has always admired Prince Curtis. She goes against her family's wishes and her phobia in order to close the distance between them by becoming a field nurse amid war. Together they must unravel the truth behind the rising conflict with Curtis's family, overcome ancient enemies, and protect each other as a member of the king's court moves forward with plans to usurp the throne and gain unimaginable power over their world's natural magic. So I got a lot of pages to read set in this world, which I'm looking forward to. This one is a different genre than all the rest. This one is historical fiction. We've got The Queen's Priest. This is by Teresa Abel Haynes, and this is the story of a gripping historical novel based on the true story of Thomas Abel, the 16th century priest who defied King Henry VIII and spent 7 years of his life in the Tower of London. Father Thomas Abel's tranquil life in Oxford is shattered when the powerful Cardinal Wolsey summons him to the royal court. Embroiled in King Henry VIII's quest for a divorce, Wolsey asks Thomas to become Queen Catherine's personal chaplain and the king's loyal spy. Then, when a covert mission to Spain forces Thomas to choose between the king's demands and his own conscience, he must decide who he will serve. Will he risk everything to do what's right? The Queen's Priest reveals the treacherous landscape of Tudor England, where speaking the truth could cost a man everything. Follow Thomas's journey from reluctant priest to fearless champion of faith. Yeah, this sounds really great. I've always been interested in King Henry VIII. He was fairly unique in many ways, and so I think this will be really good to read about. Yeah, looking forward to that. Plus it's set in Oxford, which always looking forward to spending some time at Oxford. Then I got 2 books by L.A. Thornhill. We've got The Lost Descendants. This is the King and Prophet Chronicles. And the next one is also, I think this is maybe a novella. The other one I have is book 1, and this one doesn't have a number on it. The war is lost, his people conquered or exiled. Prince Seth has only one hope left, and that is to keep his sister Hadassah safe, hidden and safe. But he has to find her first. After 3 years of searching, he finally gets a clue that takes him back to North Arden, the kingdom stolen by the Duramonti. Seth must find her before the enemy does, but Hadassah isn't the only one being hunted. So I need to double check where this stands. I'm assuming I would read this one first. And then we've got Prophets of Arden. This has a number 1 on the spine, so I'm assuming this is the first book. An unwanted prophetess, a faithless prince, the two must fulfill their destinies if there is to be any hope for North Arden. Ripped from her dorm room, Becca finds herself pitched into an ancient world. When she accidentally rescues Princess Hadassah from assassin shades, Becca is tasked with returning the prince to her brother, the deposed heir to the throne of conquered North Arden. Becca fights her attraction to the stubborn prince as they continue their journey toward safety. Even when it is revealed that Becca is the foretold prophetess, Prince Seth seems determined to see her as nothing but an outsider. But as her prophetic abilities help them survive shades and Duramonti conquerors, the prince finds himself feeling a begrudging sense of trust, accompanied by an unsettling attraction. How can this girl from another world possibly help him reclaim his kingdom and his throne? This is also a thick one, also just under 500 pages. This one has a map of the world, the twin nations of North and South Arden. Cool. So I've got that one. This one is A Bounty of Secrets and Rebellion by Shira Maurice. This is book 1 in the Chronicles of Tanathor, Age of the Oracle, book 1. A historical alliance between 2 gifted races is threatened when Prince Alana Bell Sundry is attacked and a bounty is placed on her head. With powerful enemies on 2 borders, the kingdom of Latura is relying on her arranged marriage to the Galen prince to strengthen their position in Tanathor. Enlisting the help of a mysterious bodyguard to keep her alive until the prince arrives to claim her, Alana soon learns there's more to the undercover guard than meets the eye. As she spends time with her new bodyguard, she realizes the attacks on her life aren't the only threats to the alliance. her heart may prove just as effective at dismantling a union that has been years in the making. Meanwhile, across the Great River, Griff is unaware of the political events happening around him. The girl he's loved for years has recently been promised to his little brother, the future chief of Hoken, and Griff must find a way to reconcile his heart to the oracle's prophetic declaration. However, after a fateful decision with deadly consequences leaves him and his brother's betrothed captured in enemy territory, Griff must now come to terms with his new fated destiny. Once again, we've got a map. This is the one Amazon did a terrible, the book was packaged just fine, but it came with like a little gift note, and it was just crumpled beyond belief. Like someone must have tried really hard just to crumple it up and put it into the book. Sometimes Amazon could try a little harder. Okay, next we've got Not Since You. This is by Erin Marie. When she was 17 years old, Ava Peters fell in love with Anderson Bailey, the broken, angry boy next door, and did everything she could to break through his walls and show him that someone cared. Surprisingly, she convinced him to go with her to the prom. Unfortunately, after another brief glimpse behind his mask and an incredible, unexpected first kiss in the moonlight, he disappeared without a trace, shattering her heart. 10 years later, their paths cross again, and they are forced through circumstances to spend time alone together. As they begin to get closer again, he gives her a glimpse of his broken past and the reason he never felt worthy of her. Can she break through his defenses a second time and point him to the one who can take his burdens and make him whole again? Can she convince him to stick around and give them a chance, or will he end up running out of fear that he still isn't good enough? Two more left. The next one is based off of a true story. It's called The Prodigal Son. Crackhead to Jesus Freak is the subtitle. And this is based on a true story. At 1:30 a.m., Samantha Evans received the call every spouse dreads. Mrs. Evans, there's been an accident. 6 hours later, Mrs. Evans, we found something on the CT scan. Instead of preaching that Sunday, Pastor Clint Evans went to jail with a BAC of .24, a cancer diagnosis, and a felony charge of fleeing police. The Prodigal Son, Crackhead to Jesus Freak, chronicles a Christian's lifelong battle against demons, addictions, and unworthiness, and portrays God's backlash of grace towards a man whom many branded unredeemable. This story flings church doors open to the world's misfits and challenges pew squatter saints to stop measuring their godly perfection against the dirty, homeless, and addicted. From gutter to pulpit, to ditch to grace to graves, Evans speaks volumes of God's furious love for his prodigals. I think this one will be a hard read in many ways, but also a good one. And the last one came in this beautiful box, hence why I saved it for last. It's got a dragon there on the cover. Look at that. And it is The Rise of the Raiden by Susan L. Markloff. I also just want to show you the inside of the box. There's like this confetti stuff, but then it says the 7 united as one. I gotta put the confetti back or else Tolkien will just have a heyday, because cats and little pieces of paper, I don't know if that's the best combination or like the absolute worst combination. Probably he thinks it's the best combination and I think it's the worst. Dragons attacking her school is about to be the least of her worries. Jennifer Monroe is an average 18-year-old girl, and she knows it, which is precisely why no one, least of all herself, would suspect anything extraordinary from the quiet, boring girl who only has a few good friends to call her own. But that all got flipped on its head about a year ago when 2 imposing men, a complete goofball, a werewolf, and 2 large 4-legged creatures barged into her life. Now, over a year later, Jen leads a double life. Mild-mannered, quiet high schooler by day, dragon slayer and raw energy wielding warrior in training by night. Juggling SAT scores, papers, and mastering the art of flying, she's managed to keep her friends and family oblivious to her hybrid abilities and continue on a track for college. Everything was going swimmingly, until one normal, foggy November morning when a dragon crashed through the clouds, heralding a small army to descend on her high school. All for little, forgettable her, making her realize that maybe there's a whole lot more going on than she originally thought. So that sounds good, and there's a pronunciation guide at the beginning of the book, which is helpful to know right off the bat. Ooh, gotta show you some of these pictures. There's a bunch of dragon illustrations in here. Also love that. Another illustration. I need to make this darker. There's that one, and then there's another one. Ooh, this is cool. So there's a glossary in the back. Glossary of creatures that has like the picture and the information about them. And then it looks like there's also places and cast of characters listed alphabetically. Oops. That is really cool. You do not see that very often. Yeah, neat. So this seems to have a lot of stuff going on. I think this is quite a long series, if I remember correctly. So should be entertained for a good long while. And that is the end of the book haul. Let me know which ones you think I should start with, because I'm gonna have some troubles prioritizing books here. It's hard. I get decision fatigue and easily overwhelmed and want to start them all, and therefore start none of them sometimes. So let me know if you have some suggestions. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today.